And we're back in the room, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Now, my guest today, Planet Rock love him. Guitarist Magazine love him. I love him. And now it is time for you to freaking love him. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, live on the Caiman show, rock and blues singer, songwriter, Jack J Hutchinson. Welcome to the show, sir. Pleasure's all mine.
Hey man, thank you very much for having me. And as we said just off air, then it is like looking in a mirror. We're like long lost brothers or something. It's
beautiful men, mate. Beautiful men.
Obviously, you're the better looking version of me, but yeah, it's cool to see you, man.
Nah, man, I was going to say the exact same thing. Now we could bless each other on our fine beards, our flowing locks, and our good looks all night, couldn't we? But there are more pressing matters to talk about, I'm sure, Jack. You know.
Of course, man. But I'll be honest. I did wash my hair for this because I've been like, I'll be honest. I spent the weekend with my niece watching like Hey Dougie and things like that. So
awesome.
Like not the most rock and roll the weekend. So I thought I need
my kind of weekend these days.
Yeah, man. It was pretty cool. But I was like, I need to get back in rock and roll Jack mode for this evening. So I got the herbal essences out and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, excellent, here we are.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on board, sir. So obviously it's been a tricky year and a half or nearly 2 years, however long it's been. How have things been for you in lockdown, first of all? Have you managed to, obviously you've managed to survive, but have you managed to thrive? Have you used it to your advantage at all or what?
It's been amazing. No, I'm only joking. I mean, it was like, yeah, I mean, it's been like it has for most people, I suppose. Like there's been ups and downs and yeah, I don't know really. We had a massive tour that was cancelled last year, which obviously was pretty gutting. But then we just threw ourselves into writing and going in the studio, which is I think what a lot of bands have done. They've definitely done the same thing. Been in the studio and recorded some new material, which probably we would have only just started doing that now. We would have just finished the tour,
yeah, and
then we would have been like, oh crap, we need to write some songs now. So yeah, it's been all right. It's been good in that sense, but I've sort of over the years, I guess I've kind of plied my trade through the live circuit. So for me to not be gigging, that has been kind of mentally quite difficult because I usually use gigs as a way of getting all that kind of inner anger out and kind of the stresses that you sort of have in your head. So I have missed that, but yeah, I've enjoyed the writing.
Nah, good man, excellent stuff. So how many gigs have you cancelled? Have you got a figure there, or don't you know altogether?
Well, I know the countries that we had to cancel because we got these like really cool tours of Brazil, Russia.
Oh wow, really?
And that's hopefully going to happen next year anyway. But we just before lockdown, we went to Brazil and did like a short 3-week tour.
Yeah.
And then we were sort of invited back the following September, and we were going to do like a 6-week tour of Brazil. And because Brazil's such a big place that actually getting from one gig to the next took like 3 days or something ridiculous. So yeah, I was really excited, and we hadn't even announced it yet. We'd sort of like we were about to announce it, and then the pandemic hit. So hopefully that stuff will happen next year. But you know what, man, it is what it is, and as I said, there's probably people out there that have been through way worse things than us cancelling some tour dates. Yeah. So although it was pretty gutting, we were okay generally, I think.
That's cool, man. That's good to know. And things like this often breed creation, don't they, as well? It's like, it's like, okay, what are we going to do now, right? There's this virtual world here and everything. A lot of bands I've spoke to have got into the virtual scene and everything, done some virtual gigs. They've promoted their stuff via podcasts, things like that. They've, as you said, you've been writing more and everything, things which are now in place, which wouldn't have necessarily been in place if this pandemic hadn't have shot your gigs out of the water, so to speak. So, it does scare the creative juices going where you're forced into a corner sometimes as well, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of live streams initially last year that, as most musicians would probably say, they didn't really know what Zoom was prior to the pandemic.
Zoom was an ice cream to me from the ice cream van back in the day. Do you remember them?
Oh, Zoom was quality, weren't they? Yeah.
Other ice bars are also available, might I add.
Can you still get Zooms? Because
I don't know.
If not, why not?
If not, why not? Exactly, man. Exactly. It's but back in the day, that's what Zoom was to me. So when someone said, "Do you want to do a Zoom call?" It's like, what's that? we have an ice cream each and just chat or whatever? You know what I mean?
That was it. Actually, about 2 months into the pandemic, someone broke the news that you couldn't get Zooms anymore, and I was like, "That is it. I've had enough." But yeah, I was kind of like, yeah, I did get into doing these weekly live streams, which probably pushed me back into a zone that I've not been in for a few years, which is like when I used to do open mic nights across London and go to blues jams and that, getting up with people and playing random songs each night. And I'd sort of settled into being J Hutchinson and playing the album tours and that sort of stuff and playing the same material night after night. But I was doing this thing each week where it was, on socials saying, "Oh, what song do you want me to play?" Expecting there to be people like, some of my fans like sending me some like really cool sort of like, "Can you cover some Nick Drake or something like that?" But I was getting like freaking Taylor Swift requests. So I just for the first 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, I'm too cool for that, man. And then I just caved, and I was like, actually,
just embraced it by the end, yeah.
Yeah, no. But by the end of it, I was a massive Natalie and Brulia fan, and he just kind of had to lighten up a little bit, which I think is a good thing actually in music. I think me certainly in the past perhaps I've taken things a lot more seriously than I should. So it was good to do that, and I don't know whether it's informed the writing process for my next album, but there's still the kind of like Soundgarden riffs, but they've now got like loads of harmonies and melodies on there. So hopefully that's a good combo. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm sure it will be, man. I'm sure it'll be awesome. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. So what have you done did you do you've done writing obviously throughout the pandemic, yeah? So have you got a chance to record throughout the pandemic as well? I know you got some bits and pieces coming up. Is this where they were recorded? Yeah,
so we had this sort of mad period back in September last year where things kind of had opened up a little bit, hadn't they? And we
briefly for a heartbeat, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
just for a cup of coffee.
Like we went to France and did this gig in France, right? And it was like, things.
What was that in between all of this? Yeah,
yeah. This was like we went to Momentum Studios in Plymouth, and we did a week there, just tracking all these new songs, doing the drums and bass. And at the end of the week, we got the ferry over and went and did this one-off gig at a festival in France. And then we came back and quarantined for like 10 days. But then I was then like, okay, we're going to go back and finish off the record in October and November. So we went back, finished the bass off. So then this was like my moment was in October and November to go in, do the freaking vocals, do all the guitar, and be like king of the castle for a week. And then there was another lockdown. And I was like, what? So we had
talk about pissing on your chips, eh?
Yeah, man. I was like, it was like Rocky in Russia training to fight Drago, and then he turning up at the end and Drago's missed his flight or something. It was just like,
good analogy.
But then we basically had to I rang the musicians union up and spoke to them and got like this freaking letter that gave me like permission to go and do the session. So I went in and it was a bit weird because I'd sort of planned to do things in quite a relaxed way and sort of blow a bit of cash and spend a bit of time doing the guitar parts. But there was suddenly this feeling of, well, everything could shut down any moment. So I don't know whether that urgency is in the recordings, but it was certainly in my head when I was in the studio thinking, is there going to be something on the news tonight where the studio shut tomorrow? So yeah, we worked pretty hard in November to get everything done, and then it was pretty much done. And then I wrote some more songs and was like, we need to go back and do some more. So we did a little bit more in February of this year. But I'm really proud of the fact that we managed to achieve that in that situation because it was stressful.
Yeah,
it was unlike I've been recording in various forms, for about 20 years now. So it was the most insane way of recording a record. But yeah, I'm super pleased with that. It's like a monument to that period in many ways.
Definitely, it's a piece of history in itself because of this pandemic. I'd say. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure every band will be saying this over the next 12 months when all these records come out. But I think the best records are a personal experience. They capture a moment in time, don't they, for the band? And I was quite keen to not write a record that was me just banging on about the pandemic. That wasn't what I was about. It wasn't me going to be slagging off Boris for 60 minutes. It had to be about my kind of like personal experience.
Yeah, you're in a take and your inner feelings on it, sort of thing, is it?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think that hopefully means that it will resonate with other people. Because everybody went through tough stuff last year. But I've always been quite positive about things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's taking that energy, that sort of angry energy, and putting it into a positive way of thinking. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
makes perfect sense to me, man. Perfect sense. Yeah, it's like I don't know. Say, for argument's sake, I fall down a hole. Just look around, see what's nice. I can't get out of it. Let's see what's nice in this hole. So you know what I mean? It's that's one heck of an analogy. I don't know where that just came from, but yeah, let's try another.
These analogies are going to get even worse. I mean, what was the Rocky one I just came out with? But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like
they'll get better as the podcast goes on now, mate.
Yeah.
But so you've got a single coming out as well then. So that is out on Friday, the 13th of August.
Yeah, there's like an ongoing thing with a lot of my releases where I try and seek out Friday the 13th.
You do actually do. It wasn't coincidental. So it's Call of the Wild, I believe that it's called, yeah?
Yeah, it's called Call of the Wild, and it's a little bit unlike most of the other stuff on the record. There was this sort of like Hammer horror theme in my head, right? And that was something that I really sort of channeled a lot of spare time into at the start of lockdown, was rewatching all these classic Amicus horror movies and Hammer horror movies. And then that kind of informed the songwriting a little bit, and also the kind of visual side of the record. I mean, there's a long history of that, isn't there, in heavy metal, hard rock, and that sort of thing. But the new single, Call of the Wild, it's sort of about dual personalities, and it's about, there's two sides to everybody. And I think that, I've certainly got kind of a, more positive side, and then also that kind of darker side that I don't mean in a weird way, but in a kind of
I think everyone can relate to that, Jack, as well. I certainly can.
But I think the song also was a little bit about, and it's a bit of a cliche, I think, where rock musicians go, I had a drink problem and I had a drug problem, and it took me all this effort to get off it, and blah blah blah. But I was in a bit of a mess in 2019 with booze, and it's happened a few times in my life, and every time it's happened, I've come off booze and then managed to last about a year or year and a half.
Yeah.
And then
are you off it at the moment?
I've been off it for 18 months now.
Yeah, good man, well done.
Which is, it's good because I've now got a coffee addiction. I don't know if that's any better, but I think the song's a little bit about that kind of like the flip side of my personality, and being in a place that, actually, when we came back from Brazil on that tour in 2019 at the end of the year, I've been on tour for like 10 months, and sort of at the start of that year, my dad had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's prior to that, and then he went into a home, and I think my way of dealing with that was to just throw myself into touring, not
distraction,
go home, and then just basically get smashed all the time. And I thought I was having a whale of a time at the end of it, and then I think I came back and realized the sort of toll it had taken on me, kind of physically and mentally. So the song is a little bit about that, and trying to not be that person anymore, and trying to be the positive person that I can be most of the time, and not slip back into being a knobhead.
Man, that's something, again, we're all guilty of, mate. This is, it's not just you, it's human nature. We've got problems, we mask them, we distract ourselves from them. We've all got our vices. For some people, it's booze. Some people, it's smoking something. For other people, it's something a little bit harder, It's, it is what it is. But you're not alone.
I think one of the hard things with me as well is, like, I built up my stage persona and my act around booze. So when I used to do a lot of acoustic blues shows, people would come to shows and I'd be like doing shots with people in the crowd and
bottle of Jack in your hand or something. Yeah.
Playing the freaking guitar with a bottle of Jack Daniels while swinging it. And great. That was a lot of fun, but I'd much prefer to be who I am now, I think.
Yeah.
And I've not said that I won't drink again, but I prefer who I am at the moment. And I'd much rather have an addiction to Dolce Gusto cappuccinos than Jack Daniels and all that rubbish.
Oh man, yeah, so that's a different level, that isn't it? Totally different levels, But I suppose everything's okay in moderation as long as you can keep a lid on it, But
absolutely, man. Yeah.
In the meantime, to cappuccinos.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, my man. Fantastic. So yeah, the single's out on August the 13th. Then Call of the Wild. Is there a limited edition vinyl as well?
Yeah, we got this vinyl pressed with DMS Vinyl over in Plymouth, who an amazing company actually, who kind of saved me about 2 years ago when my album Who Feeds the Wolf was coming out. And about 8 weeks before the release date, I got like a call from the other vinyl manufacturer saying that they couldn't do the pressing.
Oh,
and
no way. Like, 8 days.
This is 8 weeks before.
8 weeks. So, all right. So, still.
But they'd had the order for like 6 months. Maybe not 6 months. But anyway, Josiah Manning, who is the guy who's ended up doing the production and mixing on my new record, he recommended these guys in Plymouth. And I messaged them on Facebook and spoke to this guy, Sam, on like a Sunday morning. Didn't expect to get a response. He messaged me back and said, look, I'll give you a call. And he basically got this vinyl pressed, not in 8 weeks. He did it in like 4 weeks.
Wow.
And so he actually did it quicker than the original timeline. So ever since then, I've sort of, I think, if you've got sort of generosity like that, it's important to kind of repay that. And then so every vinyl order I've done has been with them since, and so they're doing the new album, and so they've pressed this new vinyl, which is a black and red sort of split.
Yeah, I've seen
personality vinyl.
Yeah, man, I like it. I've seen it. I was looking at it earlier on. It's great. I got to get one. Yeah.
And the artwork's designed by Anastasio, who's this chap who works for it's his company. It's Revelation Studios, which is based in Sevilla in Spain, and he's done artwork for like Blasco from Ozzy and Zach Wild, Zach Sabbath, and that sort of thing. So he does the artwork for Blasco, which is where I saw his artwork. And I dropped him a DM and said, would you be interested in doing some stuff for me? And a lot of my artwork in the past has been very kind of like Blackberry Smoke and Black Crowes-esque. Yeah. And I wanted a bit of a shift to the kind of more doom sort of vibe.
I got you.
So he's done this amazing artwork for the whole record, actually. I mean, it all come out in time, but and that was it felt like a sense of achievement when that arrived the other day, this big box of vinyl, and I open it up and it's like, how the hell did we produce this in this period? So the response has been great, and loads of people have pre-ordered it, which is really nice to know. So super proud of it.
Brilliant stuff, man. It looks the part as well. I love vinyl as well. There's something about it, don't get me wrong. Cassettes were good in the day. CDs are good, but, downloads, they got their place, but you won't beat a piece of vinyl in my eyes. It's art at the end of the day as well. It's something that's packaged. You've got the artwork, you've got the production, limited edition color presses as well. They just do stuff to me. Do you know what I mean? Well, vinyl's the way forward.
They're like they're a good weapon as well,
Definitely, man. It's like
Shaun of the Dead sort of thing. But it's like I remember one of my friends, Ben, who I was mates with when I lived in Burnley. I lived in Burnley until I was about 21, 22, and he flogged all of his CDs and vinyl and transferred everything to mini disc.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he was like, this is what everyone's going to be using.
This is the future, man.
And it's like the amount of money he spent on these, because they were expensive mini discs.
Yeah, like what was that about? Was that about 1999-ish? Would it have been?
I think it was about 2001 that he
did that. Thereabouts then, yeah.
And I always thought it was odd at the time, because I was like, I've always been a big vinyl fan. So at that point, I was buying like physical graffiti for £5 from my local record store in Burnley. And I used to go into this shop called Solid Sounds in Burnley. I don't even know if it's still around, but you could pick up like, I don't know, like even stuff like Master of Puppets. You could get that for like £5 and nobody was buying it.
Amazing.
Now that stuff is like worth an absolute fortune.
That's it, exactly.
So good times. But all these plonkers that went to mini disc. And one thing I've noticed actually with CDs that I bought in like 98, 99 is that some of them don't even work now. Like you put them in and they're stopping working. Like,
that's it. Yeah. Especially if you put them, I find if you've got a CD player in the car, if you put them in there, the car don't tend to like them. I find, that those CD players don't. It's bizarre, But yeah, I've had that as well.
There should be a disclaimer here and say that when my album comes out on CD at the start of next year, like the CDs will work. I guarantee it.
Promise.
Mate, do you know what? No one's done that. No one's started putting stuff out on mini disc. That's it.
Limited edition mini disc.
Limited of one.
Yeah, that's it. One is enough, I think, man. That was a big flop, wasn't it? But talking of vinyl, I threw all mine away back in the day. I did have some left over, and then I sold like an original press vinyl of Hotel California for £1 in a boot sale. What a dick, like. Why did I do that?
Yeah,
if only I knew then. Yeah, it was you, was it? If only I knew then what I know now, though, man, But
yeah, I mean, I'm sure I gave some of my vinyl away at some point and, swapped vinyl with people. And there's a friend of mine called Pete Hearn who gave me some of his vinyl quite recently, actually. He lives down near Plymouth, and we met up probably about 6 months ago now, and he gave me some of his old Zeppelin stuff. And he's got, I've got a Zep 4, but it's like a pressing from about 1989, whereas he's got like an original, and he just gave it to me because he doesn't listen to them. And I just really I really like looking after those things. And I was round at my bass players last week. We were listening to some old Rolling Stones stuff that just, to me, it's a bit of a cliche, but it does just sound better on vinyl.
Does, man. It does. It totally does. It's just like the crackling, the static, the whole needle. It's just great, man. It is fantastic. Oh, I also threw away, looking at your t-shirt there, your vest there, Iron Maiden Killers live on vinyl. I even threw that away, man. What a complete knob I turned out to be,
Well, Pete actually gave my bass player some of the old Iron Maiden records as well, which I think Laz was quite chuffed about. And Laz is a bit younger than me as well, so he's sort of discovering this as though it's like this new thing, and it's like this has been around for some time now. He's come into it at the vinyl revival period.
That's right. Yeah.
But it is tempting when you put the order in for, because I'm an artist as well. I make drawings and stuff, and so when I do the artwork for my albums, I'm quite opinionated, which must be an absolute nightmare for the designers. They're just like, yeah, sure, Jack. 18th message asking for changes. But I think when you're looking at the designs that you can do, and you've got like options of like pop-up vinyl, like a pop-up book, or like sort of laminated letters on it, and you think, okay, and then you add it in and you think, actually, this is going to add about $2,000 onto the production cost to do all this stuff. Free fireworks, all that kind of crap.
Pyro when you open it up. Brilliant, man. Why not? No one else is doing that shit. Get it done.
I reckon you open it up and there's no vinyl. It's just a mini disc.
Yeah, perfect, man. Yeah, surprise, and a party popper.
How to wipe out my fan base in one fell swoop.
Yeah, let's not do that then. Let's stick with the formula. So yeah, we've drifted now. Just two old school rockers talking vinyl. Let's hop back to it. So there's a 7-inch limited edition vinyl, yeah?
Yeah.
People can pre-order. How and where do they pre-order if they want to pre-order?
So we're doing this sort of exclusive vinyl offer through Eyesore Merch, who've recently done similar kind of exclusives with Mason Hill, and they did some stuff for Blackberry Smoke, and they're also about to release Wayward Sons record as well.
Okay.
So Dan, who I spoke to at Eyesore, I actually worked with him kind of briefly, but when I did a release with Earache Records at the start of last year, and Dan worked on that campaign with me. So it was cool to kind of hook up with him again and then do the release via iSaw, which is good because it kind of gives me a different platform to release the record.
Yeah.
So yeah, if people go to iSaw.com and just search for J Hutchinson, it's on there. It's on the new releases bit at the moment, but yeah, there's like a bundle option with a t-shirt and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be working with them.
Awesome stuff, man. Sounds good. Drop the links to me. I'll drop them in on the video description and everything as well at the end. All right, mate. So we'll check that up for you.
Cool, man.
So people can go direct. There's on the back of that, then there's a tour coming up now as well in October. Tell us about the tour, the Hammer Falls tour. Also, I notice on the 22nd of October, you're just over the hill from me there in Crumlin. So I shall be seeing you there. Firekind are also there. I was talking to Jace last week. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. So tell us about the tour. What can we expect? Where exactly and how long is it for? Where exactly you're going to wind up and how long is the tour for?
So this is my biggest headline tour that I've put together, and it feels like it's slowly built over the last couple of years to get to this point where I can do this sort of thing. And the tour is 16, 17 dates, and we're going all over the place, man. I've got like my first shows in Birmingham, doing a London show, Newcastle, Edinburgh, Liverpool. So there's a whole collection of different places, and it's a kind of mix of some of my favorite venues that I've played over the last 3 or 4 years, going right back to my first record. So the Hammer Falls is my third solo record, my first album, Paint No Fiction. And we play places like the Patriot in Crumlin, where we've always just felt like they've given us a really warm welcome. The audience there is great, and we just wanted to go back there and play some of our favourites. And then we've added in, some venues that we've never played before in areas that, they're slightly bigger venues than what I've played previously, and that's going to be quite exciting to do as well. So yeah, I'm just really excited about it, and we've been out, we've played. It's weird because we've done gigs like throughout this month, and we did the first show at Love Rocks Festival, and usually when I go out on tour, I'm doing like 200 shows or whatever a year, so I'm kind of like, it's just you're doing it all the time,
constant.
And you don't get nervous. You're just like, here where you actually, it's a bit of a stereotype with like a Spinal Tap thing. But you do get into a zone where you're like, where are we? Like,
that's it. Like, it just becomes routine. It's just autopilot, like.
And like, I remember I once made this absolute stupid error where we were traveling around Spain, and I thought we were in like Sevilla or wherever it was, and I was like, "Good evening, Barcelona," and I was just completely confused. But anyway, what's the line from Spinal Tap? It's not your job to be as confused as him. That kind of is me. But it's a bit like when we did the first show after not playing together for 6 months since we did that France gig. Like the adrenaline rush was insane. And like my drummer Felipe, we kicked off that first track and it was like double speed. I was just like, you're getting a bit of an adrenaline rush. And he
get a bit excited, like.
He said, I was going to have a heart attack at the end of that song. I was like, no, it's like. But I think by the time we do the tour, we'll have settled back into that kind of rhythm, and I'm just super excited to do it. And obviously, everybody's missed live music. I've missed going to gigs as well. Like,
same, man, big time, massively.
I'm a musician. I play a lot, but actually, one of my favourite things is to go to like the Black Art in London. I used to live around the corner from the Black Art, and go to the World's End or wherever and get a pint beforehand, and then. Well, it'll be a pint of non-alcoholic beer at the moment.
Of course.
Then go to watch a show. And I love the social aspect of it, and I've really missed it. So I'm excited about my tour, but I'm also excited about everyone else's bloody tours.
No, that's it, man.
Don't buy tickets to their gigs, buy tickets to my gig.
Yours first, right? Yours first. Jack J Hutchinson first. Yeah, well, same for us. I'm in a band myself now. I've stopped doing the originals. We're just doing covers at the moment, but like you say about the social aspect of things, it's like getting together with your band. It's that's just social for me, getting together with people, going to see our mates' bands as well. Our mates' bands coming to watch us and everything. 22 gigs we cancelled in the pandemic, you know. It's not about the money either, because we get tuppence halfpenny, to be honest. You know, it's about going out, playing, having that buzz, having that interaction with an audience, meeting other people, meeting other musicians, comparing notes, and just having a jolly. So yeah, it'll be good to get back out there, see other people's gigs, do some ourselves as well. But Crumlin on the 22nd of October, that's a Friday night as well. So no school in the morning, no work in the morning. So yeah, I'll be there for that one, 100%. Most definitely.
What sort of music do you play in your band, if you don't mind me asking?
So we've sold out now, mate. We've sold out. We do an 80s tribute band now. We do, and it's it's not the sort of stuff that I'd listen to. Let's just put it that way.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with the 80s. I to be honest, actually, when we were in like the tour van slash C-Max, after we've been at a gig, like we ain't putting Black Label Society on when we get back in that van. It's like, should we listen to a bit of Spice Girls? It's all
man. It's all about guilty pleasures, isn't it? I'll be honest with you. That's why I do this band. It's like, all right, let's not broadcast the fact that maybe I listen to a little bit of this on the sly, but let's just sing it and see where it goes. You know what I mean? So that's what we do. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I think, you know, like a lot of the music that we, you know, my partner Liz, she's into kind of a lot of 80s stuff, and she listens to a lot of sort of electronica and synth stuff, which there was a track on the new record that was going that route, and it was actually an instrumental track.
You say was?
And well, it was about 8 minutes long, and it was like a John Carpenter style thing that was just going on forever. Yeah. And then for ages I was like, I'm gonna have the balls to have this on my record, like the centerpiece of the record. And then right at the last minute, I was like, it needs a chorus and a guitar solo, and then I redid it. It actually sounds really cool now, and I think I made the right decision. But maybe maybe the next record will be my sort of Philip Glass record. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, give it a whirl, man. Mix it up a bit. It can't harm, you know. Bit of diversity, you know. Just mix it up.
I'm going to do John Cage, just 60 minutes of silence. That sounds like it'd be cheaper to record it anyway.
This would be a bargain to record that one. That's for sure. So anything else going on at the moment? Any plugs, shout outs, any acknowledgements or anything?
Well, apart from, you know, the most recent weekend, as I said, watching Hey Dougie with my niece all weekend. No, but so we're basically working on next year, trying to get everything scheduled in for next year, and the tours that I mentioned earlier on in this chat about, you know, trying to get back over to Russia, and we've got Spain down, and we've rescheduled down. We're going to Switzerland actually. That'd be quite cool.
Oh wow, nice.
But we also need to work out, you know, all that boring stuff to do with, you know, Brexit and the changes to, you know, visas and carnets and things like that. But the thing is, I'll make it happen.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know,
it's not gonna be the end of it. It's just like, as boring as it may be, I'll just have to spend 2 days filling out forms.
Yeah, a little bit more paperwork, like a little bit more red tape. That's all, isn't it? You know, it's doable.
Stick on the 80s playlist and get that paperwork done. That's
perfect, you know. Man. Perfect. I'll send you a mini disc.
Do it, man. Do it.
I'll make it so. So what was it? You've played Russia before, you said, have you?
Yeah, I went over about 4 years ago, and so it was quite exciting because I was going back. And there's this great chap called Boris who took me over the first time, and he's going to take me back again. Yeah. And it was an experience, you know. It's funny actually, because I was, I don't know how cool this is, but I was just like skimming through the TV channels last night, and I ended up watching Red Heat with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah.
Jim Belushi, and it's really funny because when they weren't given permission to actually film in Moscow, so all the shots of Schwarzenegger in like Red Square and places like that, it looks like somebody's just plonked a camera on a pavement and he's shot from a distance. And I was like, that looks really weird. And I went on IMDb and they didn't have permission. That's why it's shot like that. Awesome. But anyway, the way that Russia is perceived in that film it wasn't my experience. It was a really, really cool place to go.
Yeah.
Really amazing people, and they were big vinyl lovers actually over there.
Oh, fantastic!
So
that's the
I'd
way.
love to go back and do again. It's a tour that I think the first time I went out there, I did maybe 6 dates, and it was going to be the case that last year we went over and did like 10, 11 dates and just did a bit longer over there. So fingers crossed that'll happen.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So they're big music. There's a big music following out in Russia as well, is there?
It's a bit like Brazil, man. Like I'm drinking out of my eight. It's like I'm advertising loads of bands.
That's fantastic. Let it happen, man. Let it happen.
Not that they need my help.
Yeah, well, return the favor, guys. Return the favor.
Come on, Angus. But like we went to Brazil, and there's a lot of rock fans over there, and we did. Was it the first gig, the second gig? We played this show, right, and we travelled for, I don't know, it felt like an 18-hour car journey to get there. We're in this bar, and I once I get to gigs, I'm in this zone of like, I can't chill really. I want to get out there. But the guys they can just fall asleep at the drop of a hat, Laz and Felipe. So they went back to the hotel and slept. And I just sat in the venue having a beer, and slowly like this venue filled up with like very like young people, all wearing like Iron Maiden t-shirts and AC/DC t-shirts. And I messaged my drummer Felipe, and I was like, "You sure this is the right venue, man?" Like, but there's a big following for that music over there with a younger generation. That you probably do to a certain extent in the UK, get that, but in Spain and Brazil and Russia, there's a lot of youngsters love Led Zeppelin and Stones, and it's really exciting when you go over there and they've never heard your music before, but it's within a genre that they love.
Yeah, that they can relate to, like, yeah.
So really excited to go back to those places next year, and fingers crossed we will be able to do it. We'll have to see.
Well, let's hope so, man. I think things are due to be lifted 19th of this month, I think, again, are they? I think they're on about ditching these this underwear off our faces and all that. So that'll be something. That'll be a start.
Well, I've got a beard. I mean, I've been practically wearing a face mask for 15 years. I mean, it's... Actually, I got... I like these face masks. I really struggle with it because I put this like... It's like beard clay in to try to spruce it up a bit. When you put a face mask in, it basically just sticks the beard out and makes me look like...
Ruins everything, man.
I mean, to be fair, I look pretty ruined anyway, but I end up looking like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. It's kind of bonkers, but yeah, fingers crossed after 19th, we're getting back to some sense of normality.
Fingers and toes, my man. Fingers and toes. So yeah, guys, you're first. If you want to get the single Call of the Wild, that's available Friday, the 13th of August. Available again. Remind us where we can get it. Pre-order.
If you go to isawmerch.com or isaw.com, it's basically Isaw merch. So basically, you can get the vinyl from there, and they do t-shirt bundles as well. And once the album pre-order goes live, that will be via Isaw as well.
Fantastic stuff. Well, drop me the link and we'll chuck the link in. So guys watching and listening, just check the link in the description and click on it, and away you go. Jack, is there anything else before we wrap up, good sir?
I think when we meet each other in reality, the universe may implode, because we are it's like when Marty McFly and he's warned that the universe might implode if he meets one another. We're like long lost, not brothers, but like we are the same person. Long
lost same persons, if that's even a thing. Yeah, well, if you text me what you're wearing, we'll really confuse the fuckers then, all right?
But I'll tell you what, man, when I go out on stage and it's not me, it's you. Yeah. And then my band are like...
What a twist. What a terrific twist.
Wicked, man.
Top, man. That's fantastic. Well, I will be seeing you in October, my friend, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I wish you every success with the single. I wish you every success with the tour when it kicks off. And I'll certainly see you down the line. So look after yourself. Enjoy. Keep doing what you're doing. And it's been really lovely chatting to you and having you on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, dude. Thank you very much.
Excellent, my friend. I'll be seeing you soon. Jack J Hutchinson, everybody. Woohoo!